Darkcast Network, indie pods with a dark side.
We asked on our Instagram community chat what your favorite What the Fuck Wednesday content is, and an overwhelming amount stated dumb criminals. I mean, we are here to please, so we decided to bring you yet another dopamine-filled episode of Dumb Criminals. Bad Santa edition.
Before we get started on some jolly fat man shenanigans, let's hear our riddle for the day. I can travel all around the world, just like Santa Claus, without ever leaving my corner. What am I? Be sure to stick around to the end to find out the answer.
Our first bad Santa is 55-year-old John Michael Barton. Okay, so this guy had apparently been dressing up and posing as Santa working with children for quite some time in December 2006 when this all went down. His wife had passed away several years prior, and working with children had become his passion. He had a black 2003 Triumph motorcycle with a sidecar that he put a stuffed Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer doll in it. So, the kids loved that.
Mm-hmm.
One Sunday evening, he stopped at a convenience store to get gas for his motorcycle. Also at the convenience store was a family with their 3 young girls. Santa sticks out like a sore thumb in any setting. I mean, unless we're talking about a Santa convention or something, but we are not. Needless to say, the 3 girls noticed the jolly man, and he asked them if they would like to see his stuffed reindeer. They all followed Barton over to his motorcycle to see the reindeer in question. Pretty harmless sounding so far. Then suddenly, the girl's mother heard Barton's motorcycle start up. To her horror, she saw Barton driving away with her little girl in the sidecar and told her husband, "Trip, he's got our child."
Oh my gosh.
The mother stayed behind with the 2 younger girls while their father, Trip, chased after the man and his 8-year-old daughter. He drove 80 miles an hour behind them, flashing his lights and honking his horn to get Barton to pull over. Finally, Barton pulled into a church parking lot, and Tripp parked his car in front of the motorcycle so he couldn't leave again. He jumped out of his car, confronted Barton, grabbed his daughter, and drove back to the convenience store with his wife and 2 other girls. While he had been gone, the authorities were contacted, but by the time they made it back to the church parking lot, Barton was gone. Morris said he wasn't sure what Barton's intentions were, but he was definitely intoxicated. Police found his motorcycle parked outside of a bar later on that night, and when they went in, they found his Santa hat and a glass of wine sitting on the bar counter. You'll never guess where they found the big man hiding. In a utility room. In the bar. He was arrested around 9:52 p.m., and it had been evident he had been drinking for quite some time. Barton appeared in court shortly after, where he apologized and that he just asked if anyone wanted a ride, and the 8-year-old little girl did, so he took her for a ride. So, I mean, this is just a classic example of don't drink and drive like you didn't. He did. Sound decisions were not made.
No, there's definitely a theme in this episode. Yeah. I mean, look, he's just trying to spread cheer, but in your right mind, your right sober mind, you would probably maybe think, taking this small child in my motorcycle without talking to her parents and just, leaving with her from a gas station, probably not the best idea. Also, he's going at least 80 miles an hour down the road with a small child in a sidecar and a motorcycle. Oh my God.
Yeah. He might have had, really innocent intentions behind it. Like, oh, she just wanted a ride. I was just doing her a favor. No, buddy, just maybe not next time.
Maybe ask an adult. I don't know.
Give her the reindeer. Go buy another one. There.
Oh, there you go. I mean, gift the people things. Let's not kidnap them.
Kidnapping
in
is...
the name of Christmas. No.
Kidnapping in the name of Christmas. I feel like that should be a title somewhere.
We could make that happen.
Wait, I don't think we want to.
There's definitely a running trend in this episode for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well, our next Santa also went for a joyride, but luckily no children were involved in this one. So on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, for those who don't have a Black Friday where you are, in 2015, a guy dressed up as Old St. Nick and rented a helicopter from an air taxi service at the Campo Marte airport in Sao Paulo, Brazil, for what he dubbed a Black Friday surprise. Yeah. So he boards the helicopter with the pilot and they take off. They're in the air for a while when Santa suddenly forces the pilot to fly to a small farm outside of the city. When they land, they're met by another person who seems to know our naughty Santa, but like no word on if they were dressed up as an elf or not. But that would definitely make this story way more entertaining if they were. So that's what I'm picturing in my head. So Santa and his helper tie up the pilot and leave him on the ground while they take off in this stolen helicopter sleigh. The pilot managed to get himself loose after a few hours and told police about the thieving Kris Kringle. But apparently, the helicopter and its passengers were never found.
I mean...
Where did he go?
Hey, man, Santa's magic, all right?
Magical thieving Santa Claus. Maybe it was a present for someone. Maybe he ran out of time and he couldn't make a helicopter himself, like the elves didn't know how, and so he had to steal one.
Or maybe the reindeer got sick and he needed a faster way of, getting from place to place. Who the hell knows?
So his Black Friday surprise was, surprise, I'm going to take this helicopter.
I need this for stuff and things. Bye-bye.
For stuff. My question is, they know what the helicopter was, what it looked like, probably some sort of identification tag for the vehicle.
Gotta be.
How did they never find it? Where did it
Santa
go?
shrunk it to give to a little boy for Christmas. Or a little girl.
I really love the way you think. Or a little girl. Yeah, you know.
I don't know why I am the way that I am. I'm sorry.
I love it. But yeah, his helper was definitely dressed as an elf, and that's just...
In your mind, yeah. Clearly.
In my mind.
Nothing nefarious happening here.
No.
Oh, man. Okay, so cooking during the holidays is really, really exhausting. There's so much work to do, and it goes by so fast. And then the cleanup, oh my God. Even if you're like me and like clean as you cook, it takes a small eternity to finish. To me, sometimes it just doesn't seem worth it. So I can see the appeal of eating out for Christmas and skipping it all together.
Yeah.
It looks like our next Santa in question was tired of waiting for his cookies and milk too. Across the pond in England, a man dressed up wearing a red hat, red pants, and a red jacket over a black shirt climbed through the freaking drive-through window of a KFC restaurant back in December 2015. Yes, he hoisted himself through the drive-through window and demanded cash. Apparently, the restaurant only keeps around 300 euros in the drawer at all times, so he started threatening the employees with a knife to open up the safe in the back. Dude was able to make it out of the restaurant with an undisclosed amount of cash. And due to the time of year, naturally, making an identification of the man was gonna prove difficult. Instead of wearing a white bushy beard, he had a mask covering his face. So literally the only notable thing about his appearance was the whole Santa getup. which providing that information to the general public to be on the lookout for anyone who matched the description would be completely useless. Come to think of it, does he belong on the dumb criminals list? I mean, he used the time of year to his advantage and managed to escape with some cash. On the other hand, he dressed up as Jolly Saint Nick and climbed through a drive-through window of a fast food joint. Yeah, he's right where he belongs. Yeah.
I just love that so many people use the Santa getup to their advantage this time of year, because it's true. There are so many people dressed up like Santa for different events all over the place, whether it's, Salvation Army Santas, mall Santas, Santas in other events.
Photographing
And so
Santa,
it's like right. So it's like you put on a Santa costume and you're like, oh, look out for this guy. It's like, cool, that doesn't help me at all because there's literally hundreds of them all over the place.
Yeah.
So it's kind of genius if you think about it. And the fact that we obviously don't know who this person is.
I mean, hey, it's the second Santa in a row that got away with whatever his caper was, so.
And if I recall correctly, it's not going to be the last.
No,
so,
it's not. Spoilers.
No. Yeah, spoilers, but it's still hilarious. Okay. I don't know about you, but I don't think I've ever really thought about what Santa wears under the suit.
I would never do that.
Well, I mean, does he get sweaty or is he freezing? Is he wearing long johns under there? If I had to guess, I would assume the Santa's probably a tighty-whitey kind of guy.
There's an image I never needed.
I know. I mean, he just seems like the type. But he decided to mix it up one day back in 2007. Santa was taking a joyride down Hollywood Boulevard in California when he got pulled over for driving under the influence of too much eggnog. See, I told you there was a theme here. When the officer approached the extra jolly guy, he noticed the famous red hat, but the suit was nowhere to be found. Instead, he was wearing a blonde wig, a red lace camisole, purple G-string, black leg warmers, and black shoes. Obviously, this wasn't Saint Nick. No, this was 53-year-old Rick Carroll. The intoxicated and snazzily dressed dude was taken to jail where he paid the $5,000 bail before picking up his sleigh, aka a 2008 Chevy Impala, from the impound lot. I just hope no kids saw him so indisposed, or they would probably be a little scarred.
There's so many conversations that you try to avoid having with your children, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be one at the top of the list. Mommy, why is Santa in a G-string? God, no.
Children shouldn't even know what a G-string. Mommy, where's Santa's suit? Why can I see Santa's butt cheeks?
All right, I recant my previous comment about the tighty-whities and welcome that back to the forefront of my brain.
That seems much more of an accepted visual. Not that I've ever really thought about it before, what Santa wears under his clothes, but we all wear something under there, right? Well, maybe not. Maybe he's a commando type of dude. I don't know, but I definitely wouldn't picture a purple G-string.
No. Okay.
No, I just want to know what that guy had been doing before that, Yeah, running theme.
All right. This next one, I don't think there was an actual costume involved. However, this dude's actions during his shenanigans landed him a spot on today's list. Back in December 2019 in Wisconsin, a family dog kept barking at a bedroom closet one evening. When the woman of the house and another family member tried to open it up to investigate, they couldn't. The door wouldn't budge. What they did discover was fingers sticking out from inside the door, holding it shut.
Nightmare.
Needless to say, that warranted a call to the police since they were sure it wasn't anyone they knew hiding out in there. Also, it might have been the fact that the dude said, "Ho, ho, ho," while in there and told the family not to ruin their Christmas surprise by opening the door. You can't make this shit up. During the phone call to 911, creepy Santa fled the closet and went to a nearby garage where he pilfered some items before moving on to yet another house. He apparently forgot that a lot of families have dogs as pets, and the next house he went to, he got spooked away because of a dog barking at him. Cops tracked him by his footprints in the snow to another garage on a different street. I swear, the next part is seriously something out of a Three Stooges skit. So the officers get the code to the garage, right? They punch it in, and when it started to open, they noticed someone on the inside of the garage push the button to close it. This happened multiple times until finally one of the officers was able to distract the dude, and they were able to get into the garage. The man was 32-year-old Cabian Coleman, who had confessed to being under the influence of drugs and was on his way to turn himself in when the police had started chasing him. Sure.
Something tells me he was not on his way to turn himself in.
He's got the jingle balls to tell the family, don't open the door and ruin your Christmas surprise. Really?
What is this surprise? The fact that you are in my closet is a surprise, my dude.
I think that was the surprise.
Don't ruin your surprise. No, get the fuck out of my house. Oh my God. Drugs are bad. What are we learning? Bad. Drugs and alcohol and Santa do not mix.
Don't mix. No, they don't.
Oh. Oh, man, that one was funny. Okay. Amber, I feel like this Santa might be a little more your speed. So not only is Santa embracing his goth side in this story, but it happens around Halloween. So back in 2014, a 21-year-old University of St. Thomas college student named Brock Johnson, which is a very great college guy name, if I have to say so myself. Brock Johnson. Okay. Well, he was participating in a zombie pub crawl that was taking place in Minneapolis, Minnesota. If you remember, well, Amber and I do have experience dressing up like zombies and going to parties, so this one is definitely right up our alley for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So this guy is obviously dressed like a zombie, right? Well, not any type of zombie. A zombie Santa Claus.
Zombie Claus.
Which is very clever. Yes, Zombie Claus. And I don't know how many bars that Zombie Santa Brock had been to that night, but it must have been a few, because somehow he managed to make his way into a family's home around 9:45 that night. He walked right into the living room and terrified a little boy who was just hanging out in his own house. So the boy took off running and left through a back door, leaving his teenage sister alone with drunk Santa in zombie makeup. The girl locked herself in a bathroom upstairs and called her parents, who weren't home at the time. So the parents call the cops and rush home, obviously, where they find Zombie Claus passed out in the house and vomit on the floor. Awesome. So gross. The cops wake up Brock, who has no idea where he is or how he got there. He was cited for trespassing and taken to a detox center to sober up. I think Santa Brock probably should have swapped some of those alcoholic beverages for water or food during that pub crawl. Oops. Yeah.
I mean, other than the unwanted vomit on the floor, at least nobody was injured. But dear God, that poor little boy got the shit scared out of him.
He will never look at Santa the same way.
No.
I'm scared of Santa.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. I don't want him giving me a shit. Oh, and his makeup was probably all like smeared or messed up or whatever because he had like been out all day drinking too. He was probably a hot mess express. I would be like, can you make him come over and clean up his own vomit? Like, I'm not cleaning this shit.
I'm not. Yeah, but I couldn't handle an extended period of time smelling that.
No, God, of course not. But God, it's like my cleaning up after my kids is bad enough. But like a drunk stranger, oh, Jesus.
No. Okay.
No, I hope he's okay now. I hope you're okay, Brock. Brock Johnson.
I'm not going to forget that one for a while. Well, we're at another restaurant for this gem of a tale. In a Buffalo Wild Wings, of all places, a 57-year-old man claimed to be Santa, and he was handing out presents to the staff and customers. Okay, so before you start going, aw, that's where the warm and fuzzies stop, and the munchies probably begin. Because instead of Legos and Barbies, Randy Lange was, I don't know if that's how you say his name.
I mean, that seems right to me.
We're going to go with it.
Yeah.
Randy Lange was seen wrapping marijuana in napkins and handing it out to people. He even gave a weed-filled napkin to an employee and stuffed a bunch into the tip jar. He had 5 football-sized amounts of marijuana in his duffel bag that weighed over 2 freaking pounds.
Wow.
He would wrap up some weed in a napkin and hand it out to the customers, saying he was Santa and he had a gift for them. Now, look, I know he had like 2 pounds of stuff in his duffel bag, but man, that sounds like one hell of an expensive gift.
Yeah.
That he's just handing out all willy-nilly.
He must have been enjoying a lot of his own stash to feel that giving.
Yeah, seriously.
He was in a real good mood. He's like, I'm just going to share the love.
I mean, I bet there were a few real happy customers in there.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
Hey, gonna have the munchies part taken care of.
So did he get arrested or did it say?
Oh yeah, no, he got arrested.
Okay. Okay. I'm just like, how did he get his hands on that much unless he like grew it?
Maybe we're dealing with a Walter White Santa.
Oh yeah. I mean, at least it's weed and not coke.
Meth.
Yeah,
Drugs are bad.
That's what I was going. That it could be worse. But I mean, if you're going to hand out any sort of drug at a Buffalo Wild Wings, at least it's just weed.
At least it's weed.
Could be worse. Okay.
It's weird. Don't make it weird, Gina.
Don't make it weird. Don't make it weird, Santa. Okay. So, do you ever wonder if Santa gets dressed like the rest of us do around the holidays? Like, how does he blow off steam when the weight of giving presents to billions of children across the globe just becomes too heavy? I've never really thought about it, but I mean, Santa has feelings too. I'm sure it gets be a little too much sometimes. But whatever he does, I don't think it's what this guy dressed as Santa did back in December of 2014. So a man named Derek Anderson drove up to the Blue Sky convenience store in Macomb, Mississippi at 5 o'clock in the morning wearing a mask, Santa hat, and a flowing white beard. Nothing nefarious just yet, but Anderson was carrying something I'm pretty sure the real Saint Nick doesn't have. A gun. Yeah. The convenience store had 2 entry doors, but one was locked overnight for safety. This naughty Santa had a helper because he knew which door was unlocked. He held up the cashiers and made off with cash and cigarettes. Another sign maybe Santa was feeling a little stressed, needed a cigarette. One of the cashiers, a woman named Carla Brown, told the local ABC affiliate, I don't know what he wanted to portray because Santa Claus doesn't do anything like that. You're not wrong, Carla. She also said, I guess he was trying to do his best to make sure he was covered, but wow. But wow goes for a lot of the people we've talked about today. Yeah, wow indeed. As for the other cashier, Cecilia Payton, who was present at the time of the crime, she was later arrested for a conspiracy to commit armed robbery. Sounds like this was an inside job.
Oh, yeah. Santa totally had an elf on the inside for this one.
Santa's helper was on the dark side. For sure. I mean, Santa's stealing cash and cigarettes. Really?
Do better. Make better choices. Like, really.
Do better, Santa. What kind of example are you setting for all the children out there that believe in you? It's just sad.
It is. Sad Santa noises. Okay. So this next one is another one that doesn't exactly have like the iconic suit involved, but when I get into it, you'll see why it was included. In January 2016, a man was pulled over for driving in the wrong direction. Here's another one in our running theme.
Oh, gosh.
The man in question was a 67-year-old who is unfamiliar with his location and had a smell of alcohol wafting off of him. Sounds all too familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He performed a field sobriety test and didn't exactly fare too well. That probably had something to do with the fact that the two breathalyzer tests he consented to were 0.130 and 0.119.
Yikes.
He admitted to having 3 or 4 beers at a bar for being pulled over. Yeah, sure. 3 or 4 an hour, maybe.
Yeah.
So why did we include this seemingly normal sounding DUI? Well, because the man who was pulled over and arrested was legally named Santa Claus. There's really something unnerving about hearing Santa Claus pulled over for DUI. It also doesn't help that his mugshot bears a striking resemblance to the jolly fat man himself. And yes, DUI deserves the title of dumb because it's dumb to drink and drive. Haven't we gone over this before? There's my little PSA for the day.
So the first thing that popped into my head was it sounds like earlier in this guy's life, he probably got told he looked like Santa Claus a lot, and he thought it would be really fun to legally change his name to Santa Claus. And here we are in our late 60s making very non-Santa Claus life decisions.
Yeah.
But I mean, at this point, you're probably like, I'm too old. I'm not changing it now.
I don't give a shit anymore. You know, maybe he did go through and like actually change his name, or maybe his parents were just really into the holiday spirit.
Maybe,
and hoped that, you know, he would continue on with he would live up to the name, and he's just like, no, fuck that.
Well, I mean, it sounds like in appearance, at least, he did. If that was the case, it's just his actual life choices weren't that great. He's like, my name is Santa Claus. I might as well look like the guy. But that doesn't mean I have to act like him. Oh my gosh. That's really funny. Okay. This last one is actually kind of cute in a weird way. It is. But I completely understand why the mom in this situation was less than thrilled. I'm sure Santa, just like many of us, can misplace things from time to time. Keys, cell phone, shoes. If you live in my house, shoes seem to disappear all the time. Or, you know, maybe even his reindeer. Well, that's what this Santa lost in Sparta, Wisconsin back in 2009. The jolly guy, or in this case, 55-year-old Thomas Arnold, was on his way home from a Christmas party with Kevin Arnold, who I'm assuming is probably a relative, when they spotted some young kids outside playing in a front yard. Santa Arnold thought it would be fun to spread some holiday cheer, so he got out of the car, stumbled into the yard, and proceeded to hug the kids and ask them if they had seen his reindeer. I mean, at least that's all he asked them if they'd seen. Well, it wasn't long before Mom noticed what was going on in her front yard and called the cops. The men, they didn't have any ill intent and just thought it would be fun to talk to the kids while decked out in a Santa costume. But unfortunately, their level of intoxication impaired their judgment. An open can of beer was found in the vehicle, and Kevin Arnold was charged with impaired driving. One of the little girls who was playing outside at the time told police that she wasn't fooled by his Santa costume because the real Santa doesn't drink. But I mean, something tells me Santa probably enjoys his eggnog, though. At least. You know, I mean, let's not assume Santa's sober, but I don't think he'd be doing any of these things.
No. Maybe the first Santa had the reindeer, you know, he had the stuffed reindeer. That's why the Santa lost it. Just saying.
We've come full circle.
We did go full circle.
Where's my reindeer? I don't know. Ask the other drunk Santa.
Oh, man. And this one hits so close to home, though, because when I was like 5, you know, Santa came to my house Christmas Eve, and 5-year-old Amber was like super pumped about that. Like, cool, Santa's like showing up here. This is amazing. Well, and stumbled Santa Claus, reeking heavily of alcohol and slurring all over the place. And so when homie left, I was like, man, Mom, Santa looked and smelled a whole lot like Uncle Ed. Yeah.
And you're like, and Christmas was never the same after that.
It really wasn't. It's fine, though.
Like, is drunk Ed Santa going to be back this year, or
let's leave him home next time. Thanks.
Oh,
I appreciate, you know, the real Santa sending out like one of his minions, but let's pick a better minion next time.
Yeah, maybe not Uncle Ed. You picking a different one. Oh man, that's really cute.
Well, is it outro time? Did we do it? We made it.
We did it.
Holy shit. Well,
I know.
Thank you for joining us for this Bad Santa edition of Dumb Criminals. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Weird True Crime if you want to see some of the images from today's episode. We also have a community chat we'd love for you to join.
Before we say goodbye, let's hear that riddle one more time. I can travel all around the world, just like Santa Claus, without ever leaving my corner. What am I? The answer? A stamp. Did you get it? That's clever. I never would have figured that out. But I think we've established that I suck at riddles.
You don't have the best track record with them, I will admit that. But see, the clue in that was leaving my corner, because they're always in the corner of, you know, your mail. Anyway.
Corner of the mail. It's cute. Okay, until next time, stay safe.
And make good choices, especially if you dress up as Santa.
Bye. Yes, you can also, I've lost track of what I was going to say. I was going to ad-lib and then my brain just like died.
Like train of thought just completely exploded there.
Oof. What was I going to say? Oh yeah. And if you would like to spread some cheer, be sure to tell us, don't tell us about the podcast. We already know about it.
I'm pretty sure we are familiar with our own podcast, Gina. Yes, thank you. I think what she's trying to say is if you like what you hear, share it to your friends. Maybe they'll like it too. Yeah, you know, whatever.
There you go. You know what, Dustin? Figure it out.
I'm making him work this time.
Oh my God.
Look.
Bye. Don't use that first bye. My voice completely cracked. This has been a shit show. Goodbye.